Good morning. I have, on several occasions, mentioned my grandmother, whom we called Franma. She was a huge inspiration to me in how to build community. But Franma believed that there were a few topics that were not fit for polite company. Sex, politics, religion, and money. One of the reasons I love Unitarian Universalism is that often we are willing to talk about such things. Want to talk about sex? Our denomination has one of the most inclusive and comprehensive sexual education programs in the entire nation. Our Whole Lives, often called OWL. Want to talk about politics? All Souls is a good trouble congregation. Want to talk about religion? Yes, please. We talk about ours, major world religions, earth-based religions, theology, spirituality. Want to talk about money? I'm not shy. Let's go. Oh, I see some worried faces. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe you're thinking, ooh, a sermon about money might get really tedious. Well, it's going to be okay, because Jay Thomas, our musical director, and I happen to be musical nerds. And we are going to sprinkle this with some magic. So, all will be well. Give me some jazz hands. Yeah. Later on, we might do a kick line. So, you might have already guessed that today is the launch of our annual pledge drive. Last year, All Souls made a mighty leap in pledging, and pledging went up 15%. This year, we want to soar, and we're aiming for a 20% increase. Show me those jazz hands. Yeah. So, while some of us grew up in homes where speaking about money was frowned upon, here in our spiritual home, we know that it is essential and that it's a matter of morals. Budgets are moral documents. Budgets reflect what we as a community value and the way in which we want to invest in ourselves. Look at a church's budget and you can tell a great deal about them. And by the way, do please look at the budget today at noon right here for David Love's monthly Treasurers Report. When a church engages in any stewardship campaign, it is engaging in a covenant. We are covenanting together to determine what we value, how we will care for ourselves and our future. Today, we are inviting you into this covenant. And because we are Unitarian Universalists, I want to invite you to approach this from a heart space of interconnectedness. We are surviving a pandemic. Perhaps some of you, like me, may have been frustrated by the actions of some people during the early parts of the pandemic that worked against the common good. Some of you, like me, might struggle to understand how, when the government provides millions in subsidies, decades of investment in public research, science, development, safety, and an infrastructure that serves as a foundation to companies headed by billionaires who then claim that they did it on their own and prioritize their own pet projects. As Reverend Peg Chamberlain says, there is no private wealth without the common wealth. Decisions about communities are not just practical questions, they are moral questions, questions of value. Communities thrive when centered in abundance, not just financial, but in commitment, compassion, and courage. We can all be big spenders. Hang on, I need a drink of water before we go any further. We can all be big spenders when it comes to that kind of community investment. The minute you walked in the church, I could see you were a spiritual seeker, a real big pledger, well-grounded and divine. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? So let me get right to the point. What we do at church requires community. Hey, big spender, won't you come and pledge with me? When we pledge, we are investing in being part of something bigger than ourselves. We are saying that we want to be part of a community where all people are welcome, where everyone participates, and where love and compassion are at the center of all we do. When we pledge, we are saying that we believe in the power of this community to create positive change in the world. When we pledge, we are saying that we believe in the importance of working together with other Unitarian Universalist congregations to create a more just world. It is a solemn promise, a meaningful undertaking. It is something that when done from a place of generosity and within our own healthy boundaries, makes us want to sing.
Give a pledge. Now's the time to spend, not hate. Give with gladness, not guilt. Give to this place that we built. Give what you can. Give what you will to help us with our plan. Don't worry if it's not good enough to impress all your friends. Just give a pledge.
A pledge is not the actual giving of money. It is a promise of what you intend to give. Each of you determines your own financial situation, your investment within this congregation, and then we ask you to give us a number. What you plan on giving over this fiscal year. This is important because it helps us to create a realistic financial plan. It also helps us to dream. There are recommendations for fair share guidelines, and the stewardship team can provide you with a visual guide. They suggest a financial commitment of about 2% of your income for anyone earning $10,000 or less. And on the other end of that income spectrum, the guide suggests 10% of your income. So that can be a couple of dollars a month. It can be $2,000 a month. But ultimately, there is no right amount. It is only what is right for you. If your family comes in every Sunday, your kids are in the religious exploration program, you participate in the book group, the science group, the choir, well, then we expect that your pledge will reflect that involvement. We are a community that supports itself. In Unitarian Universalism, there's no larger governing body that provides our funds. It is actually the opposite. Our churches support the Unitarian Universalist Association. We expect those who benefit from the church and participate in its activities will share in its financial upkeep. So why do we pledge? Because this church belongs to each of us. We pledge to fund the daily operations such as your amazing staff and the upkeep on this beautiful historical building. Pledges support our worship and music programs, our religious education program, programs for members and friends, community outreach, and connections to Unitarian Universalism. Okay, so some of you might be wondering, well, what about what goes on every Sunday with a collection plate? It's a little bit different. Although some people use the Sunday offering to make their pledge payments, you can only do that if we can connect you to that money. So it's got to be a personal check with your name on it or something like that. We cannot mind read the cash that goes in there as part of your pledge without you identifying it. And the offering is another important option for contributing, but offerings alone don't allow us to set a budget because we cannot predict what's going to happen in the plate week to week. And some occasions, like Christmas Eve service, the entire offering goes to a community partner. In order to set a workable budget, we need the prior knowledge of a pledge commitment. And I know we're all thinking, well, what if I lose my job? What if my circumstances change? What if I have a financial emergency? We get it. We are a compassionate bunch. We know that everything changes. Just contact the church and let us know. That way, hang on, I need more water. We can all enjoy our favorite things. Wonderful sermons by lay folks and preachers. Down in the kids' wing, the great RE teachers. Joys and sorrows, the hymns that we sing. These are a few of our favorite things. With such problems in the world, we're sometimes feeling sad. We come to All Souls for our favorite things, and then we don't feel so bad. So what are the benefits of pledging? On November 20th last year, this community was positioned to do something extraordinary. When the mass shooting at Club Q happened, just a few hours later, we were able to say yes to our community's need to hold a vigil. Your staff worked hard and hours longer than they were scheduled. Our board members, hospitality team, audio-visual wizards, and other congregants worked seamlessly together to hold this community through that dark, dark moment. And the whole nation joined us. None of which would have been possible unless we had the infrastructure and resources that our budget provides. In just a few short months, we will welcome a new minister. make no mistake that the success of this pledge process is essential, not only to be able to call a new minister, but to also signal our commitment to soar into the future with them. It is a sure sign of our optimism and hope. So today, I get to stand up here and have some fun, share my enthusiasm for this remarkable community, and demonstrate to you the importance of us living our values. But I could do none of this without your amazing staff, this remarkable building, and your collective commitment. I might be the face you see today, but you are the founder of the feast. My mother recently sent me a tweet that listed the net worth of the most famous American pastors. Lay pastor, that means he has no seminary school debt. Lay pastor. Joel Osteen is worth $100 million. Let me assure you that when we raise that much money with our pledge drive, I am willing to forego purchasing a Gulfstream private jet. Yes. You are welcome. That is not the kind of soaring that interests us. We know what's important. We know that many hands make light work. We know that all boats rise with the tide. We know that I have run out of metaphors. But I pledge generosity to you through my work and with my whole heart. And I am grateful to be part of a community that is so generous back. We are a community that believes in the interconnected web of all existence, and therefore, we invest in each other, our community, and our future.
Anybody else? Huh?
What are you gonna say?
I am not going to sing. But oh my gosh, did anybody else want to hug these two? Wow. Whew. I was going to open with a joke that would make sense for those of you who saw me last time about, struggling not to cry in the next 5 minutes. But no chance. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my name is Arran Huckstep. I am the president of our board, and I've been asked to give a testimony about why I pledge. So it was fun because some of the things, we talked to make sure we don't overlap. But I'm so inspired. I'm like, yes, the building. Oh my gosh, the building. And that's really interesting because normally my religious background is not building focused at all. It's about people, and so that's what I'm going to talk about. But what she talked about with Club Q, it was the people, and it was this magnificent building. And it is interesting because as I've served on the board for the first time over the last couple of years and gotten to know the folks in buildings and ground, and just talking to people, I've been really educated on how important this building is. So that is a big part of it for us as a community and for me as an individual. And for me at my core, what I remember when I was a kid is we talked about in the New Testament that the Greek word for church was actually ekklesia, which means the called out ones. It means the people. It didn't talk about the building. And so for me, I love us, our people, and who we are as these 7 principles. Even if we don't, I can't rattle them off the top of my head, and that's not a catechism or whatever you do in Catholic Church. I think you do something like that. Nonetheless, as people, I know that we all care about these 7 principles, and we strive for them, and we fall short, and we strive, and we make a mess, and we clean it up, and we're all humans coming together and being holy in some way. And I love it. And that, for me, is at the heart of why I pledge and why I give. I've just heard the words recently, time, treasure, and talent. And your time and your talent, and my talent, whatever they might be, they all matter. But today we're talking about treasure. And we've set this goal of increasing our pledge as a community 20% over what we did last year. And so part of what I want to share is that as a board, we have done that. And also, here's what's interesting as a board. We are a microcosm, a model, if you will, for the whole congregation. Some of us looked, and with proper boundaries and appropriate, for me and my family, I'm staying where I was last year. Some increased by less than 20%. Some increased by 20% or a little more. And that's how it works. We're not here saying give till it hurts. We're saying be appropriate. And as a congregation, we will achieve this goal. And we will achieve all the wonderful things that we've set before us. Yeah. Oh, and yes. So that's a little bit of why I pledge, how I pledge, and what we're doing as a board and what we're hoping to do as a congregation. They asked me to share a little bit. These pamphlets are in front of you in the pews, and so if you want to, you can pledge using the pamphlets. I personally use the asuuc.net/pledge, but I'm a computer geek. That's what really works for me. I don't like paper. But whatever works for you, you can fill this out, and you can actually put it in the basket this morning if you're ready to do that. If you need more time and you're a paper person, take it home. We've got a box back in the small hall, so you can fill it out with an appropriate process, and then do it that way. So I think, my notes are all checked off, so that's my testimony for this morning. Thanks again for all of you and your time, your treasure, and your talent. And thanks so much for Beth and Jay for this wonderful Sunday morning. And Stan leading our pledge drive as always.